Hello and welcome back to the most exclusive club on the internet. I am Ter and this is Roy. And we will be reading Reddit stories today. I think most of them are from Am I the Asshole or similar subreddits, and I'll let you know as we go. We're going to have them linked in the description along with a form where you can submit some to us. And what else am I missing? If you want to follow our Instagram, that's also in the description. A lot of times we forget to say that, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that right off the top.
Also,
Anyway,
subscribe. Okay.
oh yeah, subscribe if you want to, and also it really helps if you hit like on the video too. You lets YouTube know that you like the content and you would like to see more of it. Anyway, don't want to have too much ado, so let's get into the first story. This first story is from Am I the Asshole?
That is how it's pronounced, yes.
Yes. And anyway, it is called Am I the Asshole? Because I will not watch anything more complicated than a Hallmark movie with my wife.
Oh, wow.
I want you to tell me your thoughts just on that title real quick, because that's kind of funny to me. You have any misgivings, or are you just like, I want to just hear it. I want to get into it.
I mean, I feel like the answer is no immediately. I kind of already see where it's going.
Well, that's what I want to know. What do you think? Where do you think it's going before we get there? I tell the viewers.
Very typical wife thing of movie, but then on the phone throughout majority of the movie, and then like, what's going on? I don't even like this anyway.
Okay, that's just Terry. But I mean, okay, that's what you think. All right. It starts with, I love my wife. She's intelligent and sweet. Also, she is beautiful inside and out. She teaches high school English and social studies. She loves novels and usually has several on the go. However, she cannot follow the plot of a movie to save her life. Unless it is about a big city lawyer visiting her hometown to shut down the local factory, but instead reconnecting with her high school boyfriend who is also the local baker and mayor. I've known this about her for years, and I've accepted it. I just like vegging with her, so I'm happy to see white people rediscovering the magic of Christmas, or whatever. When we were dating, we watched The Matrix. The questions she asked had me wondering about her. Ditto for anything complex. Even The Usual Suspects, where they lay everything out for you, she didn't get the ending. I've actually never seen that, so I don't know if that is a burn or not. Is that a burn?
When you said that, I was like, The Usual Suspects isn't like The Usual movies or something. No. Like, no, the movie literally called
The Usual Suspects. I've never seen that movie.
Okay, I haven't either.
He capitalized
it's like super complicated, and there's no way anyone can keep up with it, apparently.
No, I think he's...
Yeah.
I almost did the thing, but I caught myself, okay? Yes, you're right. Mm-hmm. I understood that very obvious cue. All right. We had her sister and brother-in-law over for a couple's night on Friday. We made supper, and the plan was to watch a movie. Her sister wanted to watch Shutter Island. I will not spoil it, but that movie has many twists. The ending is awesome. Shutter Island, I saw it one time. It was kind of...
I thought you were about to just spoil it right now.
No, I was about to be worse.
Oh my gosh.
I was about to say it was kind of boring.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Maybe I'm not following it. Maybe what he said is true. I don't know.
I mean, at the very least, you could think it's boring, but understand what happened. So do you understand what happened?
I could not explain the plot to you right now if I wanted to.
Oh.
I know the twist.
Okay.
Maybe that's the thing. I mean, she would be like, how do we get here?
Yeah.
So I have certain people in my family that always ask me questions, and I have to explain the jokes. But then again, they're my kind of jokes, and it's not everything. It's just
certain jokes.
My jokes. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, I had to explain the jokes in Arrested Development to my mother the other day because she didn't understand them. Mm-hmm. Of course, she's elderly, aren't you, Mom?
Wow.
You're elderly.
Also, to be fair, in Arrested Development, they do a lot. They throw a lot in a little amount of time, and sometimes they just fly by. Like a lot of those jokes.
I know the jokes per minute are crazy.
Yeah.
And the first 2 seasons in particular, it's crazy. It's so funny.
I would say because you can keep up with that shows that you're not nearly as bad as this
Oh,
person.
no.
Yeah.
Well, I've also seen it like 10 times. So that is definitely one of my shows that I go back to.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been watching it right now, and I don't know, anyone that's watched it knows seasons 4 and 5 are not good. They're okay. Like, I don't regret watching them, but they are nothing like the first 2 seasons. But I'm on season 3 right now. I'm like, should I just like skip season 4 and 5 and just start from the beginning?
Just watch the first 3 seasons over and over
watching it
again.
right now. That's something I would do with Always Sunny. But anyway, let's get back to the
super distracted.
Let's get back to the story.
Okay.
Before I go on about my whole life. All right. They're doing a couples movie night. I tried my best to suggest anything else. The new Laura Dern movie where she bangs the kid from Hunger Games. They all ganged up on me and said we were watching Shutter Island. Oh, this story is 13 days old, by the way. So I was about to say that Laura Dern movie is recent. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, I can't either.
But I know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, my wife proceeded to embarrass herself by not understanding the ending and asking questions that were not great. Her sister and her husband were looking at my wife like she was Simple Jack.
I don't know that.
I don't know what Simple Jack is, but it might be from like Of Mice and Men. No, that's not, his name's probably not Jack, but you know,
basically like she's slow.
Very slow.
Yeah.
Yes. I tried my best to cover for her or telling her I would explain it later. She got mad at me for not just answering her questions.
That's sad. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. After they left, she started in on me. She said that she noticed that we always watch a certain kind of movie and that she thought I enjoyed them. I said I did because we got to spend time together and that made me happy. She said that she was not an idiot and that she just didn't concentrate on movies. She recited the plots of several novels to prove her point. I said that I never commented on her intelligence and that she was smarter than me. She says that I'm a jerk for not watching movies I enjoy with her. So I agreed and we watched Memento today. I think her head almost exploded from not asking questions. I saw her on Wikipedia reading the plot. Am I the asshole for intentionally not watching complicated movies with my wife?
I feel like the answer is just no. Like outright. He immediately proved his point by doing so, and then it became a really bad time for her.
That is hilarious to me. I think they already kind of solved this because look. He said, I think her head almost exploded from not asking questions. So she already calmed herself down. Granted, I don't know how long she'll stay that way, but and then he saw her on Wikipedia reading the plot. I think that's a really happy medium. Like
if we're gonna watch something complicated, you choose not to ask questions, and then you can just look it up yourself if you need to.
Me and Roy have a similar happy medium that we've come to. Number one is I like watching scary movies on occasion. He likes never watching anything scary ever. What's a movie that most people don't consider scary that you consider scary? Annihilation is an obvious one.
Yeah, Annihilation.
But not very many people have seen that.
I'm better about it now, but even Jurassic Park I didn't want to watch at first. Yeah.
At first, but now you don't
now that
consider
I've watched
it, scary.
it. I think it's also because now that I've watched it, right? So if it's like a new Jurassic Park movie, I would still be a little bit more hesitant to watch it.
But of movies that you've seen already, what would be something that you consider scary that other people don't? Like while you were watching it.
Man. I don't know. I just block it all out because I'm on my phone the whole time.
Well, he can't.
Which is our happy medium.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we went to see Annihilation a long time ago and he really didn't want to see it. And I was like, Roy, it's not really a scary movie. It's just a kind of spooky movie. It's not really meant to be like freaky in that kind of way. Like it's not Saw.
Yeah.
And I would never want to go see Saw because that sounds awful. But his solution was to pull up his phone ahead of time and look up all the plot twists and all of the jump scares.
That's not true.
No, not the plot twists.
I didn't. Yeah.
Sorry, the jump scares. If there's anything scary, he has to watch for.
See, basically, because I'm fine with the plot of horror movies, right? Or like oh, it's interesting, all the crazy things that could happen. But I hate the anxiety of like that horror movies love to do. Of the like bring you into the moment. When is a jump scare gonna happen? When's a jump scare gonna happen? Bah, jump scare. and then like basically that anxiety for like that specific thing. So yeah, easily anxious person basically. But I'll still go watch all the horror movie summaries on YouTube because, you know, I'm a terrible person.
A terrible person? Okay. You mean you like watching people fake suffer?
Fake suffer, yes.
Yeah. And get murdered?
Suffer.
So you like murder. You just don't want to be the one to have to actually like hunt down, you know?
Where did this conversation go? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, maybe I've gone into some deep. I told you I was in like a weird sassy mood today. Okay, some comments. Have you tried turning on the captions? She might process information by reading, so that you could so that could help her. Also, if you always watched with them on, maybe that's what's distracting her. Mm-hmm. I know I miss some scenes because I'm busy reading. I have to rewind a bit. That happens to me too. Mm-hmm. Someone said, even though I'm commenting as a deaf person, I know a lot of hearing people who find movies better with captions because it enables them to process the info better, so I heavily recommend this tip. Honestly, because she said she reads and she likes reading, maybe she just processes information better when in the written, where she can come up with her own story in her head.
I'm curious. That's so funny because now at this point, especially with watching movies on like Amazon and Netflix and stuff, like we always watch with subtitles. So yeah, that's like I don't even think about the possibility of watching the movie without subtitles. Right, it's so bad because we do it so often now.
There's actually a couple interesting comments that I've actually heard some of this recently from TikTok. So let me read it to you. Okay. Someone said, I'm noticing a lot of younger generation are preferring captions. Makes me wonder if social media has a massive influence on how people watch content, because TikTok and the Instagram tend to have a lot of big block of text and what people are saying. Next under that says, it has to do with how audio is mastered these days in movies and TV shows. Simply put, speech clarity and volume takes backdrop to other sounds, so it's harder to follow what was said because it sounds like mumble very often. It annoys me a lot, so instead of just rewinding multiple times to catch what was said or just assuming from context, I prefer to have subtitles.
That's so real.
That's what I've heard on TikTok. I don't know anything about it, so I'm just taking their word for it. But
but yeah, it's kind of the thing of like when you turn off those captions and you start realizing sometimes like it really does feel like the person's mumbling stuff or like saying things and it's hard to catch because there's all this other background noise going on too that they didn't really like blur out enough.
Another comment says, oh my gosh, yes. Like make a separate master that goes out on TV/streaming that is intended for stereo mix, compressed, and the voice tracks much hotter in the mix. I hate constantly riding the volume up and down because the effect noises are so effing loud. Move the black point and up the contrast while we're at it. So those of us without a dedicated video watching space can actually see what the hell is happening, or have the intended for normal consumption version be the default. And if you want the fancy 7.1 mix or dark video, you'll have to get the Blu-ray or get a different item online. I think that's kind of a good idea.
That person really wanted to know about it. Yeah.
Please stop compressing all of the contrast. I don't know what you're
essentially when everything becomes like dark and blurry whenever it goes onto a regular TV.
Like really think annoying. Of Game of Thrones season, last season, that one fight thing. I don't know what the hell is going on. Yeah, it makes me think that they made some mistakes in the filming and they're just trying to cover their ass.
Yes, they just put random BS on the screen.
Yeah, nobody knows how to film anymore. Nobody's like Steven Spielberg or whatever. Nobody knows how to do these things these days. These kids better get off my lawn.
Wow.
Just kidding. I don't have a lawn. I'm poor. Anyway.
I like how in the end we kind of like, I mean, I still say not the asshole, but also agree with the wife in a lot of ways of like why it could be hard to process things.
I mean, she's definitely valid. The ruling was no assholes because nobody's being an ass. Like they're trying to meet each other halfway. And she didn't realize that he liked other types of movies too, and I guess that came into the forefront when they were spending time together with the other couple and watching that movie and realizing, oh, he actually has this other views, but he's like shutting me out, and so I can't enjoy with him what he likes. And so it feels like why? You think I can't handle it? But to be fair, Shutter Island was not a good one for her. They should have started with like Willy Wonka or something.
Yeah, the other couple didn't know at all. And he's not going to like straight up say it to everyone.
Yeah, that's true. He was trying to cover for her, which is really nice of him.
It's also funny that he like never even told her that he knew this. So that's why I shouldn't even know that he like that's how he saw it too.
I
That's
wonder
the
how
interesting
long
part.
they've been together.
Mm-hmm.
You know? That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next story. This one's from AITAH. AITAH for bursting out laughing when she told me what she brought to our relationship.
Oh no.
Didn't you find this story?
I don't remember.
Oh, maybe you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I did.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I did. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Sorry. Don't click up. Don't click up. All right. I apologize for the mouthful of a title. I was trying to be as descriptive as possible. I, 25 male, have been dating my girlfriend, Jen, 24 female, for 9 months. 5 months ago, Jen lost her job when her company went under, and around the same time, she had a falling out with her roommate. She was in urgent need of housing, but in an awkward position with employment status, so she reluctantly asked if she could move into my house. I agreed because she had already spent the night several times, and she moved in under the condition that we would begin looking for work to contribute. Now, back on our second date, when I asked Jen if she wanted to be exclusive, she responded by asking me what I would bring to a relationship with her. I answered as pragmatically as possible: a stable income, loyalty, companionship, willingness to compromise, and consistent attention to my appearance hygiene. I didn't really care much for the question at the time, so while she seemed mildly satisfied with what I said, I didn't ask her in return. I feel like I've held up my end of the bargain. But after moving in, Jen not only really looked for work for about 2 weeks. She now spends the majority of her waking hours on Instagram, TikTok, and Netflix. I've raised the issue with her indirectly before by asking how her job search was going, and she said nobody was hiring, which I find hard to believe. Well, yesterday in the evening, I finally hit my limit. Jen drank a bottle of wine that I was saving for a romantic evening and spent the rest of her day screwing around on her phone. After work, I sat her down and asked what she thought she brought to the relationship. Jen stared at me for a few seconds, as if I had asked the dumbest question in the history of mankind. Then she erupted, frantically pointing at herself. Me, I'm the prize. From my perspective, this was coming from a woman who had just gotten day drunk off wine, watched Netflix, and ate all my food. I honestly couldn't contain myself, and I burst into laughter. Every time I looked back at her, she would give me this incredulous look while shrugging, which only made me laugh harder. Jen got really angry at me and let out this wailing shriek sort of sound. She stormed off to another room where I'm 100% sure she just screwed around on her phone more. I haven't talked to her since. I feel like I might have gone too far here. Was I the asshole?
I mean, for one, it's hard to claim an asshole when you just kind of do a reaction. That was just his reaction. But it was probably a bad idea to bring that up on a day that she was obviously like not sober.
I think he's asking, like, am I an asshole for, like, laughing at her and dismissing what she said? I think it makes it sound like either that or he just wants validation. But are we validating him?
I'll validate him.
Validate parking.
Yes.
We need to get a sticker. Validate. I think that it is a little early in their relationship for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They've been dating for 9 months.
I already hate the idea that it's like, well, what do you bring to the relationship when asking like if we want to be exclusive? Seems kind of weird.
Well, I feel like that's kind of reasonable if it's said with respect.
Yeah.
If it said like, well, what are you bringing to the relationship? That's not respectful.
No. And also the fact that she didn't answer it herself kind of shows
he didn't ask.
I still feel like that's going to be one of those things of like, if you're going to ask something like that, that means it's a mutual conversation, not a like, obviously I'm in the position of power, so you have to convince me. Perhaps. That's what she meant.
Like, and he probably should have asked her because she might have said something along the lines of, I want to be a trophy wife.
Yeah. And then that would have answered his question a little bit more as to whether he wanted to be in that relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do feel like 9 months is a little early for someone to bum off of someone else. Now, granted, bumming is not the greatest, but I feel like there's been points in a lot of people's relationships where something like this has happened. Like, our relationship has definitely happened like this before. Like, for example, I quit my job right before we got married, which was also right before COVID. Like January 2020, I quit my job. We got married in March of 2020. And because of that, I did not look for a job. And then it ended up kind of just stringing into a longer time frame. And also the job market got really bad. So when I did apply, I didn't really get anything like decent. So it's just one of those things where, I don't know. Like, I just think it's early in their relationship to start bumming. Like,
I mean, yeah, like it seems like she, yeah, like it's more like obviously it's in bad kind of in general to do that, and then double the fact that like she doesn't really have a reason. This isn't COVID time or something. If this was posted 13 days ago,
yeah, it's right now.
Exactly. So like, there's not really a reason for her to do that except that it's intentional. She doesn't want to get a job.
And it seems like the communication between them is not doing very well.
No.
Like, it doesn't seem like they're planning their future together and being like, well, I want to find a job, honey. It's just really hard. Like, for example, like me and Roy have a lot of executive dysfunction from ADHD and depression and blah, blah, blah. You name it. And and so that makes it really hard for me and him to find and look for jobs and consistently get up every day and like do that. You know, it's very hard to keep like a day schedule, like a day and night schedule. For me, for example, my days and nights were flipped for like 3 years. And it was very awful. It was bad for my health. It was bad for my mental health. It was bad for everything. But if I don't have anywhere to go consistently in the morning or something waking me up where I have to be there, my brain will choose to not. And it doesn't matter what I have determined. I can like do it for a day or two when it feels fresh and it will fade. So I have to have something there that I planned that will force me to go.
I feel like this turned into like you defending yourself in terms of your previous thing.
No, maybe I just got off topic a little bit. I'm not trying to defend myself. I'm trying to say that if they had communication and maybe something like that she is going through, he would have never felt like he had to write this.
Yeah. I mean,
because if it was something like that, they communicate and they try to work through it.
I mean, it seems very much on her, this issue of communication. I mean, at the very least, I don't know, maybe it could be both, but like it's trying to blame him for not asking the questions of like, are you going to take advantage of me? It's essentially what it is, because they still kind of went into the relationship where it was still agreed on that she'd be looking for a job, but then she just barely tried looking for a job.
I mean, we don't really know all of that, but yeah, she didn't really try looking for a job. It seems she didn't try that hard. But at the same time, looking for a job does not require your entire day every day. You know what I mean? And so it is possible that she is looking for a job and also doing these other lazy things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any one way or another because I truly don't think we have enough information. But I will say
her response is pretty shitty.
Erupting and frantically pointing at herself saying, "Me, I'm the prize," does not look good for her.
No, not at all.
It does not look good.
Because he couldn't do that. That's like the main thing. Like that's like more than anything else. If he did that when she asked, what do you bring to the relationship, and he just said, "Me, I'm the prize," then she wouldn't accept that answer and would want more details. So at the very minimum, it's like, okay, explain at the very least. But she, I mean, maybe instead of laughing, if he asked her to explain, but like that's still such a ridiculous thing to say.
Well, do you think if he had said, "Me, I'm the prize," and she was okay with that, do you think that this makes this situation okay? Because I don't think that makes this situation okay.
I mean, then it becomes frustrating for a different reason, right? But yeah, like that response would make more sense, but the situation is still an issue, which is he's feeling like he's being taken advantage of. Of course, this thing is the question of like, is he an asshole for laughing? And it's like, I don't know, not really. Like, of all the reactions you could have had, because it was a really response for her to say, laughing at her is probably the better one. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I just read a comment.
Go for it.
She's a hobosexual. 4 months into the relationship and asking to move in? No, ma'am. Either work it out with your roommate or figure something out. Opie should have said, "Can't. My landlord won't allow it." Girl probably agreed to exclusivity the first time she visited his place. Now, that is true. A lot of people are like this.
Oh, it was 4 months in.
I have heard of hobosexual before. She lost her job 9 months in to their relationship. She moved into his apartment 4 months in. Here, look, he said she asked him because she was in urgent need of housing, but in an awkward position with employment status, so she reluctantly asked if she could move into my house. So she just asked and was like, I need a place to stay. Yeah, she's just using him. She might not even like the relationship.
What was that when they had the exclusivity conversation?
He didn't say when. The exclusive thing was second date.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So I do think she's a user. User alert. All right. Well, I think that's what I'm going to leave off that story. But I think we're going to move to the next story. And the next story is...
So you're just going to be like, move on to the next story, and the next story, and the next story. How you said it?
No, but I'm going to go to the next husband because he has stability and a nice house, hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right. This next story is from AITAH. And it says, am I the asshole for reporting my boss after he forced me to attend a meeting despite knowing that I was in labor?
Yes. No. Wait, reporting him? Oh, I'm the asshole
yes,
for reporting him.
She reported her boss after he forced her to attend a meeting, even though she was in labor.
No, not at all.
So let's read. I, 28 female, have been working at my company for 5 years, and until recently, I loved my job. I was 8 months pregnant when this happened about a month ago, so I started having contractions while at work. Since I was not due yet, I thought it was Braxton Hicks because they weren't that intense. Just a week before that, I had experienced Braxton Hicks and went into the hospital, but it was a false alarm. This time, I was still working when the contractions started in the morning, and again, I thought it was Braxton Hicks. I didn't want to cause a scene, so I tried to keep working. Last time I went to the hospital, my boss, John, 45 male, made sarcastic comments about me being overly dramatic and joked about how I should schedule my labor around important meetings. I have social anxiety and tend to take people's crap without pushing back, so I just took it.
That's not good.
By noon, the contractions were getting stronger and closer together, and I knew it was real labor. I needed to go to the hospital. I informed John that I was in labor and needed to leave. He rolled his eyes and said, just stay for the meeting at 1. It's crucial and we need you there. I was stunned. I reiterated that I was in active labor and needed to go to the hospital immediately. John snapped back, it's just a meeting, sit through it and then you can go. It's not like the baby is going to pop out right now. Feeling pressure and scared from my job, I reluctantly stayed. The meeting lasted an excruciating 2 hours. By the end of it, I was in so much pain that I could barely walk. I finally left and drove myself to the hospital where I was admitted immediately. My husband reached 30 to 40 minutes later because he was on the other side of town for a meeting. Wow. Both of them
yeah,
meetings.
that's unfortunate.
My daughter was born later that evening, thankfully healthy despite the delay. When I told my husband what happened, he was furious and insisted we report John to HR. I was hesitant because I didn't want to jeopardize my job, but I agreed it was the right thing to do. HR was appalled and assured me they would handle the situation. John has since been suspended pending an investigation.
Good.
What do they need to investigate? I mean, to see if she's lying.
Yeah.
Okay. The real kicker? During the investigation, it came out that John had emailed the entire office while he was in labor, complaining about my lack of commitment and making fun of me for overreacting. He even implied that I was using my pregnancy as an excuse to get out of work.
People are stupid as shit because, like, if you're going to send out an email on the work shit, then the work people can see it, you dumb fuck. Like, even if you're gonna be an asshole, like, do it privately. What is wrong with you?
He just paper trailed his own demise.
And because he's so sure. That's like the other shitty thing. He's so sure that he's in the right.
True.
Okay.
Ugh.
I don't know.
All right, this is worse.
I hate him.
Now my coworkers are pissed at me, saying I overreacted and that I should have just sucked it up for the sake of the company.
Are they all male?
Probably. I've even received messages and emails from a few colleagues saying that I've ruined John's career and that he was just doing his job under pressure. Oh my gosh. Even said that I should have toughed it out like their wife did during the pregnancy. See, if it was him having like a light fever or a light cold, they would have been like, oh my gosh, go home. Here's some medicine. And we're going to have the 911 on speed dial. And you just rest easy and don't worry about it. Anyway. Oh, one even said that I should have toughed it out like their wife did during her pregnancy. I just realized that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't listening to myself.
Not only is it all men, but it's men who are very abusive towards their wives.
Oh, absolutely. That's crazy. The stress from this whole ordeal has made it difficult to enjoy my first few days with my newborn. I'm constantly second guessing myself and feeling guilty, despite knowing I did what was best for my baby and me. To make matters worse, the interim manager who took over from John is even worse. He's made it clear to everyone that he resents my actions and has made my return to work unbearable. Now that my maternity leave is over, I find myself isolated at work. People give me side eyes and whisper about me. During lunch, I'm alone because no one wants to sit with the troublemaker. That she liked her job, she says. Clearly, there is a very toxic work environment at this job.
100%. I mean, it's considering the fact that like any of this, she could continue to report to HR. HR would not be okay with it. How the hell is this whole section of this company?
Is she in sales? Just kidding.
Yeah, probably.
It's not even done.
Oh, God.
I feel like high school all over again. I dread going into work each day and facing the hostility and judgment. I never imagined that doing what was right for my health and my baby's well-being would turn my colleagues against me like this. It's gut-wrenching to feel so isolated and vilified for simply standing up for myself and my rights. I cry most of the time when I come home and sometimes even in the office washroom when someone passes a comment. In the worst moments, I get mad at my husband and blame him for making me tell HR, even though I know he did the right thing. He's so sweet and never takes it to heart. I apologize soon after, but he always says he wasn't even mad and that he understands how I'm feeling, especially since I'm just 1 month postpartum. He says I should take action and complain, but I don't want to make things worse. He's also saying he can't see me like this and that I should just quit because it's hurting him. I don't know what to do. I'm just such a sensitive and emotional person in general, and it's been worse since giving birth.
Which is so annoying because it's like, that's not even like you're being overly sensitive by feeling upset in the way that you are considering what's happening. Like, that is super fucked. Why is everyone... Does no one like give a shit? I feel like all of them think that labor is like the same as a stomach ache. Like giving birth is like nothing.
Oh, they just don't care.
Yeah.
They just truly don't care. Like sometimes I think they know and they truly just don't care. Yeah. Someone says HR knows that if something had happened to you and your baby, the company would have been in deep, deep trouble. Your manager could have really damaged them. That's why he's in trouble. Now they're about to screw themselves over again. Not your fault. Have no pity.
Yeah. I'm gonna should still report this to the rest of HR. I don't care if like that whole department gets fired. Like it's deserved at that point. Or the alternative, she really just needs to go somewhere else. And it sucks that she's stuck there. I mean, it's hard to just get another job, but yeah, like the reality is that where she's at is terrible.
She needs to take them down and go somewhere decent.
Or she could just post the company name on this post. Go ahead. Just casually respond to someone and say, the company is, so we can all know.
I can't find any posts from her or updates.
Oh, so this might be a one-off. Hopefully not fake.
Yeah. I don't think it's fake. I'm just going to see if I see her real quick. But I don't see any comments from her.
She didn't respond to anyone.
But everyone is saying, you're not the asshole. I feel like if it was fake, that's more reason for them to comment. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm wrong.
That'd be wrong.
Someone linked a YouTube video of like, here's how you document things so you can take them all down.
True. That's the other thing at the very minimum. If you're not going to report them immediately, you should still document everything so you can decide when you do want to do something, then you have it ready.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to read The next one, I don't want it to be the last one we leave off with, so I'm going to read it now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whew. All right. This one is also from AITAH, and it is entitled, Am I the Asshole for Being Angry that my roommate was sleeping under my bed for months without telling me?
What the heck? What is this stalker shit?
I, 24 male, have lived with my roommate Carl, 24 male, for 2 years.
Damn it, Carl.
A few months into rooming with him, he told me he was a pansexual. I said, okay, cool. I'm not interested in that personal information, nor am I judgmental. I said, all right. A few times over the last year, he asked me if I had ever considered experimenting with other men. I said, nope. Also, I said I didn't feel comfortable with him as asking me such a personal question. It's not like we're close friends. We're only roommates by happenstance, basically. Anyway, every time I said this, he basically said, we'll see. I was like, what?
What the fuck?
Anyways, last night I had a horrifying experience. I heard a noise under my bed. It was movement. At first I thought I was imagining things, but then I heard it again. I thought, oh God, is it a mouse or a rat or some shit? My God, this was 3 a.m., so I got out of bed and looked under with my phone flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this here was the most startling moment of my life. I guess I'm lucky because I have never before this moment felt true terror and fear as a physical sensation, but I was completely jolted. There, under my bed was my roommate staring wide-eyed at me, and he screeched when I looked under my bed. I literally thought I was having a heart attack.
Yeah, that's like horror movie stuff right there. Oh my gosh.
I then just started hearing sorry. My roommate crawled out from under my bed, crying and apologizing over and over. I was so creeped out and afraid that I ran out of the apartment in my pajamas. There was a Dunkin' Donuts that was open 24/7 a few blocks away, so I just sat there with a decaf and a breakfast sandwich with my heart thundering away. My roommate kept texting me asking to talk. I ignored it. In the text, he found a way to horrify me even further.
Oh, God.
He confessed that he had been sleeping under my bed a few nights a week for 3 or 4 months, and that he was doing it to get closer to me and physically saturate each other. No. Physically saturate each other.
What the fuck does that mean? Okay, go ahead.
I waited for him to go to work and ran into my apartment, got my essentials, and left.
Mm-hmm.
I am currently crashing with a buddy. Our lease is up in 1 month. My intention is simply to not renew. This dude is blowing up my phone, and I'm getting texts from other people, some friends of mine, and some bozos who are friends with him. He's going around telling people I shamed him and that I'm rejecting his apologies. Some people are claiming I'm overreacting and Some people are claiming I'm overreacting and invalidating his feelings. Most people agree he was improper but think I should work it out with him and give a second chance because he's sensitive. I feel like I'm losing my mind, and I'm seriously 20% convinced I'm experiencing a long, lucid dream of some sort, and wondering if I'm going to wake up or if I'm in a coma or something because this shit is so insane to me. Like, not really, but maybe really. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So am I the asshole, or is everyone around me a fucking nut?
Definitely the asshole. Oh my gosh. You should have just crawled in under the bed with him. What the hell is this?
That was bonkers.
Because I could see the peacemaker side of like how I could feel. Maybe there's other things you could do, but like the initial reaction is 100% okay. Choosing to ignore him is 100% okay. Choosing to want to immediately leave is 100% okay. Like at the most, it's like if you want, and he doesn't deserve this, which is the big part, is like just saying to the person, you've ruined this relationship. I'm taking my stuff. I don't want to see you again.
They don't have a relationship.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, no. What is wild to me that anyone would hear a story like that, which he probably told even more detail in person, and then also be like, well, like, what was his side of the story? I'm sorry. There is 0 good reasons to be in someone else's bedroom at night.
And not to mention, his side of the story isn't text proof. He wanted to be closer for physical saturation.
That's
That
true.
is
He
enough
literally
to
said
answer
that.
that this dude's just fucking crazy. There's no like, well, it's understandable. It's not understandable at all. Not even a little bit.
I can't.
Yeah.
I would feel so unsafe.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, that seems like it was leading up to stuff.
Like, that dude's traumatized for
Like,
life.
I mean, I've heard stories of people being, like, touched by other people in the middle of the night, and they don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe they wake up and find out.
Yeah.
Like, it is not okay in any way to be in somebody else's room like that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's some sort of emergency, or you guys already have an understanding that it's okay for you to come in their room. But even, like, generally speaking, especially since they're not even friends.
I mean, yeah, no.
Don't come in people's rooms.
There's, like, any possible, like, reason they could have had of, like, what makes it okay but just really weird was thrown out the window because he explained himself. And he explained himself and he's a freak. Like, that's really what it is. Like, that's not okay at all.
No, that's not even a little bit okay.
Obviously, the first red flag was when he's going like, oh, have you even wanted to experiment? And him saying no, it's like, for now, like immediately, okay, I'm moving
Oh, yeah,
out.
what did he see? What did he say? He said, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
That's already gross.
Yeah. That's super
That's gross to say to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Because even if they were both gay and you're still just like, hey, this is just a roommate situation. And then like, him still trying to hit on you and you're like, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah, nobody's sexuality in this makes any difference. Like, if you swap everybody around, it's still creepy no matter what.
Yeah.
And if you swap genders, it's still creepy no matter what.
So the dude just had like more of a fetish around the idea of like, oh, I want to like turn him or something.
He has a fetish for being the boogeyman.
Yeah.
He wants to be the little boogeyman under people's freaking beds.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Ew.
Okay, well, even though that's not the last story of the day, that's still gonna give me nightmares. So
that's why I didn't want it to be the last one, guys.
Yep.
I was like, that one's too dramatic to be the last story.
Oh, I hate that.
Whew, nasty. I hope we get some answers about that. All right, so I have the next story, and this one's from Am I the Asshole, the original, I think. All right. Am I the asshole for taking advantage of my girlfriend? He said, advantage of my girlfriend. I feel like I'm about to get flamed, so throw away.
Okay, I'm gonna first, with that first sentence included, call he is an asshole. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Your mom's an asshole.
Sometimes.
I don't mean it. All right. I feel like I'm about to get flamed, so throw away. My girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years. Since we started dating, we have a tradition of paying each other for our dinner for our birthdays. We don't have a limit on how much that meal would cost. My girlfriend doesn't drink, so she at most has a mocktail or sparkling water. I usually pay $100 to $150 for us both for her birthday dinner. My birthday was 2 years ago and we went...
Huh?
Sorry.
I had one birthday.
My birthday was 2 days ago and we went out. I drink, which my girlfriend doesn't. Sorry. Okay, I'm just going to start that over. Starting it over. My girlfriend doesn't drink. She at most has a mocktail or a sparkling water. I usually pay $100 to $150 for both of us for her birthday dinner. My birthday was 2 days ago, and we went out. I drink, which my girlfriend doesn't like, and she thinks it's a waste of money. But it's my birthday, and she agreed to pay for everything. I had 8 drinks and a steak and dessert at a steakhouse, which cost about $200, and with her $70 meal came to about $310 with tips. She didn't say anything at the time, but last night blew up at me for drinking so much. For drinking so much money. That's what he said. She blew up at me for drinking so much money and expecting me to cover it. I defended myself because it was technically unlimited, and no, I wasn't drunk.
Technically unlimited. Okay.
That is a huge telling thing.
Yeah.
I have a pretty high tolerance, so it's not fair I can't enjoy myself. She is pretty frugal, so she thinks it's a crazy amount, and I was an asshole for leaving her with this high of a bill. We agreed we would pay for each other's meals and drink, and it's not my fault she doesn't normally get more than one drink. And it's non-alcoholic, so it's cheaper. But she's been ignoring me and refusing to talk it out. If she's that upset, I'll reimburse her for my portion, but then that's the end of our tradition.
Yeah. seems like if someone's gonna be like this, then maybe the tradition needs a cap. I don't know.
I feel like this is a really good way to find out if your partner is an a-hole.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a complete a-hole. The fact that he said,
well, drinks are unlimited, so like
it's technically unlimited. You know, you could have had this much to drink on your birthday and it would have been fine. I would have paid for it. But that was a while ago, so we'll never know. Yeah, that's the kind of thing he's banking on. What a user. Mm-hmm. What an absolute turd.
Yeah.
I hate him more than I hate the girl I think from that other story.
Oh, well. I still think, like that's also one of those things of like when you create something that has no boundaries, that's usually a sign of trusting that someone will not take advantage of that it's where you have to create a boundary. And he proved just then that like, okay, well, we have to create a boundary because I can't trust you. Like the fact that he just felt like, oh, well, I can do whatever I want. And she should just be able to pay for it. And then like, if she's upset about it, well, fuck you. Like it was unlimited anyway. I don't know. I mean, which realistically the answer is, yep, that should be the end of that tradition. 100%.
I think so. Mm-hmm. What an a-hole. I don't have anything else to say other than what an a-hole. Hope she divorces him. I mean, divorces.
LOL. Yeah, divorce.
I hope she breaks up with him.
I hope she first gets married to him. Anyway.
Divorce!
At the very least, that tradition could be like, we'll continue it, but I don't pay for your drinks. That could be like, okay, that's the one limit. So I still pay for all your nice food.
I don't think that they should be together. I think he's just an asshole.
I mean, probably. I don't know.
Yeah. I would drop him.
Yep. I guess, I was going to say, try to be nice, but we support women on this channel. So, we hate men. Men are the worst.
We hate all men.
Every single one. I hate myself. Anyway,
are you scratching your leg? Because I started scratching my leg, and then I was like, what are we doing? We're literally filming. Anyway, next story.
It's because we were outside. Got those mosquito bites now.
I know. See, I'm suddenly missing the potato story.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to have to watch our other video for the potato story. All right. This one is also AITAH, and it says, am I the asshole for leaving my date behind after she was late? You got to tell me what you think while I take a drink.
Am I the asshole for leaving my date behind because she was late? I feel like there are factors involved. What we consider. Yes. Yes, you are. Because there's I'm going with you for an event, but it's about the event versus it's a date. And a date means you're going for the person. So I'm going to say yes.
Let's find out.
Gulp.
28 male, was meeting on a first date with Sandra, 26 female. These ages are randomized for some anonymity. Sandra suggests
then why say the ages? Okay.
I know, I agree. Sandra suggests we meet at 7:15 instead of 7:45, then shows up at 7:45. Okay. This past weekend was a first date for ice cream, a walk through the neighborhood, and an activity after. I initially arranged for us to meet at 7:45 that evening. Sandra said she wanted more time for us to be one-on-one and sit and talk. I let her know that I was open to meeting earlier, and she proposed 7:15, to which I agreed / confirmed. Ironically enough, we were doing some light texting during the day, and the topic of our personal pet peeves came up. She told me hers, I told her mine, and one of those pet peeves happened to be time blindness and chronically late people. She admitted that she was guilty of one of my pet peeves without specifying which one, and said she was working on it. I told her I wasn't going to ask which one it was and that I just trust her about the working on it. Date time is approaching, and this particular ice cream parlor is pretty popular. So popular that the line was out the door and around the corner. I arrive at 7 o'clock, 7:05, figured out parking, and jump in line. At around 7:12, I let her know I'm there, and she responds that she just ordered her Uber. When 3 minutes before she's supposed to be there. Mm-hmm. I double check and ask her if she's leaving her place. At 7:20, she tells me that she's on her way with a quick message saying, I apologize. By now, the line has progressed plenty, and it's almost my turn to order. I'm also just annoyed and turned off, but I was already in line and waiting, so I figured I'd at least see what the buzz was about this with the ice cream. I ask how far away she is time-wise, and she says 15 minutes. I get my ice cream, sit outside, and people watch. As I'm getting up to leave, she sends me a text saying she's there. We meet and ask if everything is okay and if something came up along the way. She says no. I tell her that it was nice to meet her in person, but I'm no longer interested and ready to go home. She gets upset, apologizing and asking me to wait, to which I respond, I've already done enough of that. So as I'm leaving, she says, so you really made me come all this way for nothing? I give her a brief look, point to the ice cream parlor and say, not for nothing, it was worth the wait. Better hurry up because the line's getting long again, and leave. My question is, am I the asshole for leaving so abruptly? I really wanted to give her some grace, but I just couldn't get over her being so late, especially after I mentioned that I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think that's very valid.
Whenever you said, like, oh, she just left her apartment and it's like 3 minutes, is like, well, it depends how long it takes for the Uber to get from there. But it looks like it was like a 30-minute wait or like 30 extra minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 20 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of fair. And definitely at that point is when he said that pet beef, it was like when you should have warned him. And it's a first date.
No. I don't care if you have to go 30 minutes early. If you know you're time blind, you need to adjust. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like for a first date or for something that's really important?
Yeah, so I'm saying because it was a first date, this isn't like they've been dating for a while and then he ditched her. Like, which is why I'm saying more like basically my initial opinion was incorrect, it seems. I feel like he is not an asshole for acting how he acted or doing what he did.
Nope, I agree.
He could have been nicer options were there, but still at that point it's like a waste of time because he immediately, if he has an issue with people who are late and she's going to be someone who's late, then why continue the relationship? Here's
another reason that you may have forgotten that I want to remind. She is the one that wanted to do it at 7:15.
True.
He originally said 7:45, and she got there at 7:45.
Oh, that's where she basically got there at 7:45.
I think so.
15.
I don't know if she got there at 7:45.
Even if it was like 7:35 or something like that. Still, like that's like the time she should have gotten.
It would have been way closer to the appropriate time if she had just tried to get there at 7:15.
Yeah.
For a 7:45 date. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if you have time blindness, you need to make sure you're staying on top of that as much as you can. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just not do anything about it. Like, the fact that she couldn't do this for something that would arguably be very important, I would find a first date important. If you even like the person at all. I just feel like that's extremely disrespectful.
Yeah.
I would be pissed as fuck if I was him.
But you're also, I mean, I guess which makes it make sense is you're also a person who's very like that you hate people who are late. Or like,
I hate it when people are late. Oh my gosh, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. If you're like 5-10 minutes, well, if it's like a date or something that's important, like work, blah, 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 then that's not okay. But like if it's like a hangout and you're like 10 minutes after you said like, okay, whatever. But if you're going farther than that, yeah, that pisses me off so bad. It's a long trip.
You're having to wait for a while. And it was for like, yeah, I think definitely, especially adding the fact that she's the one who asked for earlier and then proceeded to still be late is not okay. And then like not giving updates until the times that he asked. Only when he asked for an update is what she would let him know stuff.
Here's an interesting comment. Not the asshole. My partner and I have been together for 28 years. The amount of times we've been late for a family event or something similar is ridiculous. He's never late for work, though. I honestly mean never. So it's obvious that he can be on time. He just chooses not to because he knows that it's his mother, brother, and sister are used to it and will wait for him. I've been making the argument with his family for the past 10 years. I tell my partner that we are meeting at 6 if the arrangement is 6:30. That's funny. Before anyone calls me controlling, try being a mother working full-time, running a home, always being on time, and being someone who takes pride in treating other people's time with respect. I cannot imagine being okay with wasting other people's time just because you can. Yeah. There are a lot of people you have to do that with. You have to be like, hey, it starts at 3 when really you're starting it at 2:30. No, 3:30.
Wow.
We literally did that for our wedding, you know.
Oh, yeah, we told people. Well,
I know a lot of people
who do that for their wedding.
We started at the exact point that we like said we were gonna start
But
internally,
but we actually put
on the
30 minutes earlier.
Yeah, on the invitation we put 30 minutes earlier than we actually intended to start.
Yeah.
Because we knew people weren't gonna come. Some people still like missed the whole thing.
Yeah, they were just that late. Yep.
Yeah, some people were just that late.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny. Like,
I think the other thing too is like the general answer for that is like, if you have an issue with that, then that means you for yourself need to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to be there 30 minutes earlier than I'm supposed to be. And then you either arrive super early or you arrive on time because you're late.
yeah.
So like she very much like, what is the general phrase is like under promise over something? Like,
Under promise,
overperform.
overperform.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Overproduce, overperform.
Something
I know
like
exactly what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I can't think of the actual wording.
But yeah, that's like the thing of if you're going to say a time, that means that you should be going a little bit earlier if you have an issue with being on time to things.
Over deliver.
Yeah, there you go. Over deliver.
Yeah. Anyway, not the asshole. She's a chronically late person, and that's one of your biggest pet peeves. So you guys are not compatible. No need to waste either of your time with it. I mean, she couldn't even be bothered with trying to be on time, as she called her Uber at the time she was supposed to be getting there.
Mm-hmm.
From the very first date, she showed you that she doesn't value your time, but that your time should revolve around her. I agree. That's one of the things that I think people who don't even try to bridle their lateness and just ignore it, or just think that they can't do anything about it, so I'm not gonna even try to do methods. Like, I understand that it's gonna be a problem for your whole life. Like, that's just kind of how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But if the people who just think it's not a problem and don't care, those people, I'm like, you just think that you're worth more than other people.
I mean, to be fair, that's not the case. She's like working on it, or at least saying that she's working on it.
She said she's worked on it.
Yeah, working on it.
But for him, that's not good enough. And I totally,
Yeah,
I think
which is
that's
fine.
totally
I think it's
valid.
also the thing of like, not necessarily to say that like, oh, I hate her, she's a terrible person, but more to say like, all right, we've just proven this relationship isn't compatible.
Honestly, even if that wasn't a pet peeve of his, the fact that she literally moved the time earlier and then didn't even come to the time she said, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me mad, honestly.
That's fair.
I think that's really the end of it. He'll have to go meet somebody else.
On time, hopefully.
And hopefully they'll be on time, since that's such a big deal for him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's very valid that he didn't want to hang out with her. But anyway, we have another story. It's going to be the last story, and it's pretty small. It's pretty quick. Okay. All right. Company made me do, this one's from Recruiting Hell.
Oh God.
Company made me do free labor, mad when I didn't let them keep it. Last year, I applied to work for a marketing firm. As a part of their interview process, they asked me to write a communications plan for a new social media management service they were going to offer. They focused on search engine optimization. I wrote a 5-page launch plan, and they loved it. Unfortunately, they decided that they no longer had budget for the role, so I removed their access to the Google Doc, thanked them for their time, and went on my merry way. About 3 days later, they emailed me livid that they no longer had access to the file, as they had planned to roll out my plan the next month and had scheduled a meeting to go over it with the team. I advised them that since the plan was a skills assessment for a role I did not receive, they would not be able to use anything in the plan without compensating me at my freelance rate of $100 an hour.
Mm-hmm. Which is real. What the heck?
Yeah. I think that's just kind of funny. It's not really from Am I the Asshole or anything, but...
Oh, that was the ending of it.
Yeah. It was just like, take that.
Yeah. Which is real. Like, honestly, that $100 an hour could even, like, I mean, like, you could definitely inflate it to something crazy. I don't know if that's inflated.
I think you could just, get like a sell it to them.
Yeah, but that seems like even a regular rate. That's completely fine to do that. If they were, like, so, like, okay with, like, they liked it so much that they weren't going to hire you but still use it, it's ridiculous. Also, they're idiots because they could have easily just copy-pasted that shit the time that they had access to it.
Don't give people suggestions on how to be assholes. Okay, so comments. Someone said, absolutely love this. Making candidates do free work, then not hiring them is as shady as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it's even worse because they go, oops, thank you for the plan, but we can't afford to hire you anymore, even though we knew we couldn't all along.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they weren't going to hire anyone from the get-go.
Doesn't look it. OP said, worst part is this was a former employer that told me they were going to open a role just to get me back after I had just been laid off from another company. They gave me hope in a very dark time, then ripped it away.
That is
so. This was planned and targeted. That's
yeah,
pretty evil.
with people that you know.
Yep.
That is so messed up.
Someone said name and shame.
Yes. Do it.
Okay. As a society, we should agree to do more of this. We all deserve to know who these bad acting companies are. We should know who's on the Epstein list, Diddy list, Panama Papers, bad priests, etc., etc. How do we finally get the truth about the world we live in? That's what someone else said.
Yeah. I mean, the only issue of actually doing it is that then the company, if they're more wealthy than the individual, then they would go after them like crazy.
This other comment says, not naming and shaming is how we got MAGA.
Fucking real, actually. Very much, yeah. I think, that's like the issue. The reason to, like, the frustrating thing about it is like a fight of defamation then. If anyone ever, like, if you do that, right? If you do go online, make an account, say something, even if it was a real experience or not, about a company, and you name the company sues the crap out of you. And like, if you don't have the funds for it, they could definitely like just drain you entirely, even if they are super definitively wrong. It won't matter.
Sometimes they have. Sometimes you have to be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, because that really could come back to bite you. Do you have any final thoughts about these stories that we read today?
Nice.
Most of them were not nice.
But yeah, fun time. Unfortunate that women were at fault. Hopefully this will never happen again. Terry, pick your stories properly.
Terry, what? Say that again?
Pick your stories properly.
My phone thought you said Siri.
You have that on? Siri.
It's Hey Siri.
Hey Siri. Oh shit. Why do you have that on? That's so lame.
Hey Siri, why do you have that on? She says, I don't understand. Hey Siri, can you tell us a joke?
It's on silent. She ain't telling shit.
She doesn't say it out loud because she's a bitch.
It's because your phone's on silent, you stupid.
Oh. Is that true? Is that a thing?
I'm pretty sure.
Tell me another.
Oh, is it still not doing it?
Hey Siri, tell me a joke.
I tried to break the ice on my first day of practice. They kicked me off the hockey team.
Ha ha, hee ha, ha, hee ha, ha. Kill Siri.
Is this how my mother finds her jokes for her joke of the day thread?
Probably.
She just asks Siri to tell her joke and then she tells that joke.
Goes online and finds. No, I think she has a book of jokes. It's like the actual answer.
No, she has several things. Well, now she has another suggestion. Yeah, we're going to leave it here. We'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, send to your friends, and also join our cult. Write some hearts in the comments
and
if
Kool-Aid.
you got
if you
this
are
far in the
our
video,
cult.
which this might be the hardest video to get through yet. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know. Are we really weird? We literally just did a TikTok running and like got all disheveled before we started. And I was like, and it just put me in a weird mood. So go watch that TikTok.
Anyway, see y'all next week.